In a quiet corner of the world, in the small town of Nazareth, Jesus Christ grew up in a life that seemed ordinary to anyone watching. He was known as the carpenter's son, working with wood, living simply, and sharing life with common people. There were no signs of earthly greatness, no palace, no army, no wealth. Yet within him lived a purpose far greater than anything the world had ever seen. As he reached adulthood, he stepped away from his quiet life and began a journey that would change history. Unlike rulers who sought power or leaders who chased recognition, he spoke of something different. He taught people to love not only their friends but even their enemies, to forgive again and again, and to serve others with humility. His words were simple, yet they carried a power that reached deep into the hearts of those who heard him. People began to follow him not because he offered riches, but because he gave them hope. The poor found dignity in his presence. The broken found healing. The lost found direction. Wherever he went, lives were changed. He healed the sick, restored sight to the blind, and lifted those who had been cast aside by society. His success was not built on fame, yet fame followed him. Crowds gathered in thousands, eager to hear him speak. But what made his journey truly remarkable was how he handled that growing popularity. When people tried to make him a king, he refused. When crowds praised him, he remained humble. He often withdrew to quiet places, choosing prayer over applause. This was a different kind of success, one rooted in purpose, not pride. However, not everyone welcomed his message. Some felt threatened by his influence. Religious leaders questioned him, challenged him, and eventually plotted against him. Despite knowing the danger, he never turned away from his mission. He continued to speak truth, even when it became risky. The turning point came through betrayal. One of his own disciples, someone who had walked beside him, chose to betray him for money. He was arrested, falsely accused, and put on trial. His friends scattered in fear. The crowds that once followed him turned silent. He was beaten, mocked, and sentenced to death on a cross, a punishment meant for criminals. To the world, it looked like failure. Everything he had built seemed to collapse in a moment of pain and injustice. Yet even in his darkest hour, Jesus Christ revealed the deepest meaning of success. As he hung on the cross, suffering and rejected, he did not speak words of anger or revenge. Instead, he chose forgiveness. He prayed for those who hurt him. In that moment, he showed that true strength is not in power, but in love. When he died, many believed his story had ended. Hope seemed lost, but 3 days later, something extraordinary happened. He rose again. His resurrection was not just a miracle. It was a victory over fear, suffering, and death itself. It proved that his message was true, and that real success cannot be destroyed by the world. After his resurrection, his followers found new courage. They carried his message across nations, sharing the teachings of love, forgiveness, and faith. What began as a quiet life in Nazareth grew into a movement that would reach billions of people across generations. The success of Jesus Christ was unlike anything the world had ever defined before. It was not measured in wealth, armies, or kingdoms. It was measured in transformed lives, in hearts healed, and in a legacy that continues to inspire humanity. He showed that success is not about rising above others, but about lifting others up. It is not about gaining power, but about serving with humility. It is not about being remembered for what you had, but for what you gave. And that is why, even today, his story remains the greatest example of success the world has ever known, not because he ruled a kingdom, but because he changed the world forever.